to the next financial year, 24-25.
Chair, I request to bring details because I know they partially paid and then the next deliverables were paid later. So I request that you allow us to bring the details.
Now, before we allow them to bring the details, go to the financials and see what do we have in the financials. Honorable Taiwa, what do we have in the financials?
Okay, before we check what is in the financials, actually, first of all, if it was contracted in the year and approved, even if it's not all paid, it is reflected as a domestic area. Right? It wouldn't be reflected here as a merit. Yeah, now what it means here from what the audit is actually indicating is that one, a commitment was done that crosses the year which was not approved by parents. So therefore it was not in the budget. And I think that's what we are raising. So to me, it's about accepting what happened and we proceed.
But Honorable Taiwa, it's not a matter of accepting what happened. You see? Accounting officer, do you agree that you did not have the 950 million in the budget for payment of this item? And why? Why didn't we plan for it? Because the fact that you had a commitment, was it recorded as a domestic area that because of failure? And in any case, we can ask, what was the source of funding for this money? Because the source of funding is also important. Was it a project funded? Was it GOU? Because that also, because if it's project money, that would have been money that is reserved specifically for that project.
Chair, my view is that since they have admitted, we sustain the query and proceed. And then the report comes out.
Do you know what? It is very bad to say justice sustained on very obvious matters. This is something that is very obvious, accounting officer. Very, very obvious. And it would be unfair of us to just, sustained bring.
But you see, Chair, in the accounts you can't easily trace it because it is
the photo was the approval.
Yes. The under professional services, under goods and services, you can't easily identify it as a particular payment. So it can't be traced there.
It can't be traced.
Yes. Because we see in the appropriation, what was actually spent is 134, and that is basically for goods and services. When you come to note 10, that's not the accounts, it gives the details of what was paid. But of course what is there is what is in the financial performance of 136, meaning out of 136 and 134, there is what was paid or incurred or transacted but was not appropriated.
And the Chair,
and there is something
because the figure in the financial performance statement is higher than what is in the appropriation. And that means that what was approved in the appropriation, some transaction was incurred. And that comes in the performance that is not in the appropriation.
Before we sustain this query, accounting officer, what was the source of funding for this project?
Kagans, can you give us the source of funding? Because it was your project.
Yeah, Madam Chair, this was the Government of Uganda fund.
It was Government of Uganda. Okay. I'm trying to figure out what to request for from this side. Do you know why? Because we have competently failed to respond to the basics of this query. And for us to ask for a procurement action file from you, that makes us to, it turns us into auditors. For us here, we don't audit. When you call for a procurement action file to ascertain some of these details, then we have turned ourselves into auditors, which is not proper. So, accounting officer, let's just sustain the query and we proceed. But it's bad for these small issues. It is bad on your part because we feel this is something that you ought to have explained to the auditors and also to my colleague on the procurement part kindly. This is something that you ought to have understood. And you ought to have had an answer on, but even you fail to speak to the basics of a procurement, That's very, very unfair of you.
Through,
The EGP, honorable colleagues, we go to the EGP and we take note of the EGP system's challenges. All these that are mentioned under here are the challenges that we've been facing with other entities.
Chair.
Yes, honorable.
2.23. Yes,
procurements
down
outside the
2.4. They are the usual ones we've met, but there is a challenge here of having 2.4 billion implemented manually outside the EGP system. That is not a usual problem that we've been facing. They can
speak to it, though. Yes. We have we saw it in some other entity, but you can speak to this. Why did you execute activities?
Remember, we've seen them acting outside another system. It's also they are also acting out in the system, even here.
So, can we speak to this?
Head PDU.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and through the PS. It is a usual practice, even this morning, through our IPPO platform, where we are having challenges on the EGP portal all the time. And at times we have to put the lives of the Ugandans first than being too officious and put the lives of the Ugandans at stake. The EGP is an ongoing process that at times has got glitches. And for the last, I think, 3 weeks, it has not been working. So if at times you don't go outside it, service delivery is severely affected. And this is a normal thing. If you are following what is happening in Kenya, actually it has bogged down the county expenditures. And that is a technical glitch that we don't have control over. That's why at times we get permission from the Accountant General, and they allow us to bypass the EGP and transact.
Exactly, this is what we want.
Honorable Choma, I request that we switch off the microphones because you confuse yourselves. Honorable Choma.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We appreciate his response, but you are telling us what happens sometimes, okay? But here we have a specific matter. We would like to hear what happened in this case.
And in addition to that, do not speak about these things as though we are in accounts, we are in accountability. You tell us that I acted manually on this authority, and you show us that these were the reasons why I spent this 2.4 billion, and these were the evidence of authority that was given to you to do that.
Honorable Songu.
Let's put records clear. Madam PS, kindly inform your officer that he cannot get permission from an Accountant General where he has not sought for that permission, because it's not through abeyance. If you want permission, you must write to them seeking for that authority. And those are backing documents that can solve this query before it was entered into the audit. So otherwise, if you say we got permission, how did you get permission? Under which arrangement? It must be generated by you.
Yes,
and Madam Chair, I think that the minister not think that we are looking at a fault, and we have dealt with other ministries. We have dealt with other ministries. What they do, they bring those documentation, like my colleague has said, you attach them, and we move on. But by merely giving a verbal explanation, because Ugandans are in trouble without any documentation, I think it becomes an issue. Yeah.
Madam Accounting Officer, I want to remind your officer, Madam, through you, that government has processes and procedures for operating any business. And just in case you have not been able to follow the laid procedure, you must go through another process to get permission to use any process at your disposal. The reason as to why these laws are put in place is to ensure that there is efficiency and effectiveness in provision of services to our people. But also, I wanted to ask, I was so hesitant in asking this, but I want to ask your officer through you, for how long has he worked with public service? The procurement person.
I wouldn't know how long, because he has been with me for 7 months, but at principal level, he should have worked for some time. I'll find out from my HR.
No, let him tell us he's around. For how long have you been in public service?
Public service in total, I've served for 31 years, and I'm head of procurement for 22 years.
Good.
Well, one thing I want to observe, and the PSC should hear this with your team. These days, most of the entities are flouting and bypassing the PPDA Act. And very soon you will get into problems. I don't know, all what we are seeing here is because you are not going through the procedures of the PPDA. Do you still believe that act, or you are going through your own powers?
Thank you, Honorable. Madam PS, the reason as to why I had even bypassed this, it's because it's a challenge in almost every entity. And we acknowledge that PSST has to do something with the system. You have found challenges, and we've been kind of at least also seen that you could not do anything about this. But for an officer who has served for 22 years in a principal position to casually respond to audit matters, that is purely unacceptable. You know, somebody begins, that one happens, we do it. I mean, it is purely unacceptable. That's why for me, I reached an extent of asking him, have you been in public service? Because you know how to respond to something that has been done outside the law. So please, colleague, you know, yesterday we had an interface with one of your colleagues from public service. Some of you at times tend to take these committees for granted. For us, it doesn't matter who brought you to the system, where you report. For us here, it's not an issue. When you come here, respond to matters of audit. For us, where you come from, who recruited you, that is not an issue here. That is why we say account, do this, and we have an interaction. We are not here for fault finding. So please, colleagues, decide when you come to appear before committees on matters of the law. In case there is something that you did outside that, I mean, explain it. We were supposed to do this, but because of this, we found ourselves in this direction. But you just can't come to the committee and say, those things usually happen. When I find that this is not working, automatically, because people must get a service, I switch. So because the hydro is off, switch to solar direct. So I really, I've been so disappointed with the way he casually responds to some of these matters. But take note, because I mean we continuously improve in the way we handle matters, kindly improve in that area. Yes, Honorable.
Yes, thank you very much, Chair. Besides the casual response that we are receiving from the procurement specialist, what is more disturbing is that this is very, very far away from the written response which the ministry has submitted. I don't know whether he participated in the response that actually falls under his docket, or is just here to confuse the committee.
Chair, I take note, and I apologize on behalf of my officer. He will improve, but I know that what I know is that we have been writing to Accountant General on these issues, and I have correspondences to that. Only that he did not explain it properly. I apologize. Thank you.
So for matters of the EGP system challenges, these are across all entities, and we shall have these addressed with the PSST. We are not going to spend a lot of time on that.
Chair, there is a unique one.
Yeah.
On page 10. Deprecation of entries. How did this happen, and what were the intention?
Duplication of entries.
Yes.
3 of... okay.
Roman 3. Until a serious matter. What were the intention of this?
You go to 2.24 under the EGP system challenges. And among the challenges, duplication of entries. The auditor says the procurement ledger contained 13 duplicate entries valued at UGX 503.6 million, which could not be corrected by the PDU of the entity. Duplicate entries compromise on the accuracy of reports, erode confidence in financial data, and increase the risk of fraud all undetected errors. Can we look at what is in Appendix 3? So, what are these activities, accounting officer? When you go to Appendix 3, but Appendix 3 speaks to something different. Are these the delayed titles? No. Auditor, duplication of these entries is it shows Appendix 3, but when you go to Appendix 3, it shows delayed titles from the main report. I was looking at the main report. But when you look at Honorable Choma, when you look at where you read this Appendix 1 on of the responses, honorable colleagues, do you have copies? Honorable colleagues, do you have those? Duplication in the EGP system, Appendix 1. These are the usual items. ICT hardware and software solutions, motor vehicle, I think these were repairs, papers, maintenance of generators, servicing of these vehicles. You don't have the copy? No, the accounting officer doesn't have. Please help us pass that to the accounting officer. What brings the duplication? Procurement, what brings the duplication? Madam Accounting Officer, through years as you check, what brings the duplication in entries?
Head PD.
Thank you, Madam Chair, through the accounting officer. This is purely a system glitch, and the Accountant General is well aware about this. Yeah.
So it's the system that does duplicate. System, yeah.
It's like you send something and then it resends multiple times.
And you can't.
No, we don't have control over that because that is a technical system glitch.
And the auditor could not.
The Accountant General's office is aware of this.
Did you give the same explanation to the auditor and the query was sustained?
We had interface with them and we tried to explain to this. I don't know why it is appearing here.
Did you see the same in the management letter?
Because across on our IPPU portal, our colleagues across the board, they have faced similar challenges, and our Accountant General's office normally says they are handling it.
Okay.
So we don't have control over this as the
honorable colleagues. Can we have the duplication? Can we take note of it and?
Honorable Chair, we have handled quite a number of MDAs, and this is the first time it is featuring here. So it can't be a cross-cutting issue that it is a challenge faced by others. And in any case, you see, most of these items are added double. So, if it is in terms of procurement or in terms of payments, isn't it a loss?
B, but what I'm saying is that this is a system glitch, replication of files. We don't have control over this.
Honorable colleagues, kindly allow, yes, Honorable Taiwa.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Chair, when an auditor who is an office of Parliament goes an entity and finds something, he gives a benefit of doubt to the entity to explain. And this explanation comes in the exit meeting, where the auditor is satisfied with the explanation which the officer wants to bring to us, that the observation or finding would be dropped. Now, I don't think the auditor got this further explanation, which to me is not correct because it's not backed by any documentation. You are not even showing us where you had actually complained officially to the Accountant General about what is happening and how it's affecting your books, and the Accountant General has replied, and you are not giving us this evidence. But in any case, this same evidence should have been given to the auditor at the exit meeting, and this query should have been dropped. Now that it was not dropped then, I don't think we take the explanation from him.
And
Yes.
the auditor is here. So really,
The accountant general is the representative of the office of the accountant general is around, but he has moved out, so he's going to speak to his submission. Honorable Wanda, as we conclude.
Thank you, Chair. Down below there is an explanation as management is response. It is very clear. Management takes note of the observations and will continue to engage the PS to the Treasury on the challenges addressed in the EGP. So when I look at this response, it means you agree there was a problem and you will engage the PSS.
Honorable colleagues, that is what he has said, that there is a problem with the system. But a colleague raised the matter and said some other entities had different challenges. He says the accountant general is aware. The accountant general is part of us. Let's wait for the accountant general, the representative, to come and he speaks to the matter that is being raised. So we penned that. He's around, but he has moved out briefly. He's going to respond on that. 2.25, failure to plan for disposal of public assets. Madam Accounting Officer, the auditor noted that you lacked a disposal plan despite disposing of items such as cars. Did we have a disposal plan? If not, why did we dispose of items that were not planned for?
Chair, let the Undersecretary.
But Undersecretary, as you respond, you take note of the account of what you informed the auditor. The accounting officer acknowledged the omission and promised to address it going forward. So you acknowledged that you did not plan for those disposals, and you promised to improve as we move forward. So, is there anything much useful that you can?
We have responded.
Yes, Honorable Saungu.
The problem with our entities here is that you don't take key observations of the auditors and the impact on reporting against you. The issue here is one, you don't have a disposal plan as a ministry, despite disposing of items such as cars. You are keeping them there for years, and you know what happens with the ministries. You keep cars there, they are not disposed of, but the people are stealing out some parts of those vehicles slowly. By the time we dispose of the vehicle, the engine is half part. All the valuable parts that would make that car move were taken long ago. But the issue here, seriously, is a disposal plan. Have you made one ever since the auditors came? Why don't you have one? Can you explain that? That's the only issue. If you had that, this people would not be looking at this.
And as you come in to explain, because we are talking about something that is very simple. Cars were disposed of without a plan. I don't know, but the procurement person may say I was not around. But even if a need arises in the course of the financial year, we always amend these plans. Have the procurement plan before even you initiate. Somebody makes an initiation of a procurement or a disposal, it comes on your table, you realize that this wasn't planned before. As an office on table, what do? Make sure you amend your plan to have this incorporated. In any case, if you are using the system, how did you have this implemented? You know, we are not here for fun. We are here to ensure that we improve. It's not a matter of casually saying we noted, but this is something simple. Why didn't you have a plan? If, say, these items were not valued by then, those are the things we want to hear. Say, by the time we began the financial, there was no valuation. So you could not have a procurement plan without these items being valued. They were valued in the course of the financial. That is why we did this and this. I mean...
And to supplement, Chair, this answer is good. Only if the accounting officer would attach that the management acknowledges this attached, please find our interim plan. So that when we really see it, we see an effort has been made. But otherwise, this passing on, but the answer has been made. But our wish in future would say, attached, please find the plan for the disposal. So that we also appreciate
that a step has been taken. Yes, Honorable Wanda.
Thank you. The statement from the auditor is clear that there was no disposal plan, but there were disposals. So the question is, what was the basis of disposing? Because it's likely that a very good asset can be disposed, even when there is no plan for that, or intentionally by somebody else choosing to dispose an asset that shouldn't be disposed. So what was the basis of the disposal that was done?
Was it an emergency?
Can you, Undersecretary, please respond.
Thank you, PS. As has already been observed, there were challenges of this omission, but of course some of it is related to, again, the challenges of the EGP, because even the procurement plan is expected to be on the EGP, which challenges has already been explained. But nonetheless, for us to do the disposal, we used the Board of Survey, annual Board of Survey, and also there was an ad hoc Board of Survey that we used to identify and do that. But the omission of the disposal is noted, and currently we have a disposal plan, which we would be pleased to supply to the committee.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Honorable.
I think the two are very different. The Board of Survey cannot substitute the disposal plan. So the question is, what was your basis for the disposal?
Actually, Chair, it is a requirement that every budget to be approved must be accompanied by a procurement and disposal plan, a recruitment plan. Now, and what these people are forgetting to understand, I'm using this law because it is very clear that every time you don't do what you're supposed to do according to this act, there is an offense committed. I don't know, but this issue, I mean, saying here that yes, we accept, we agree with the observation is not enough, because section 78 of the PFM Act, it is, I'm going to read it verbatim, where it is established that the institution or department did not meet the requirements of this act, which act requires you to prepare a budget with accompanied by procurement plan disposal, or contravene the act due to negligence or misconduct of public officer of the institution or department, the public officer shall be held personally liable in accordance with section 79 and 8 of this act. So to me, yes, to me, if you fail to meet what's required of your budget and what is accompanying the budget to be approved, then you have committed an offense. So we shouldn't take it light that yes, we have observed, we are taking note. No, I think that's not.
As Mr. Jacob, before you, we want to learn from you. Yes, we appreciate now you are an IT compliant entity. Does this mean, because does this mean that for the entity cannot have, say, because now we have budgets, we have plans, do we have some of these in hard copies, or everything must be on the system? Because the reason as to why I'm asking this, you made a response and you said that this was because of the system, the EGPS. Now I'm asking, do we have a hard copy of a procurement plan or disposal plan that you are meant to enter on the system, or everything is done on the system and you have nothing you can show off the system? We also need to really learn from you, because we are not users of the system.
Chair, at the time of passing the budget and where the requirement of the procurement and disposal plans are required, we complied. But when you look at this, it was on the section of the EGP, because at times we'll get challenges with the EGP in as far as the online procurement plan, because it is also put online.
No,
but the hard copy we have.
No, Mr. Juko, the reason as to why, we need to be practical on this. The auditor says there was no plan. But just for me, I was thinking aloud. Yes, I did not have this on the system, but I have my hard copy here. Because of the challenges I'm finding with the system, please look at this. It is here. I wasn't able to have it entered onto the system. You see, these are some things that are very simple. Because you cannot, I don't know whether PS you get my reasoning. That just in case, because I don't know whether the auditor is so hard to fail to appreciate some of these system challenges. To the extent that even when you produce a hard copy, somebody can fail to appreciate. So are we that very high compliant that we even no longer have hard copies of some of these documents?
It is there.
Thank you, Chair. I think it was an omission. We did not show them the hard copy because when we are the policy statement, all those things are there: recruitment plan, procurement plan, disposal plan. They are all attached. But as he says, the EGP has glitches, and these gaps have to be addressed. And we cannot enter some of these things on the EGP.
That we appreciate, because as we earlier told you, there are several challenges that have been stated by your colleagues even. It's not for lands alone. That's why we appreciate where there is a semblance of, so that is noted, but for really future responses to some of these queries. These are simple things to appear in your report. Honorable colleagues, can we move to, if you can allow, can we move to performance of GOU warrants? Performance of GOU is 3.15. The other part that I've skipped are the strategic plans and these others. Let's move faster to this implementation of the budget of the ministry. Accounting officer, performance of these GOU funds, you had a budget of 260 million, you received 297. The budget was funded 100%. We come now to the utilization. The utilization of your money out of the warrants of 296 billion you received, you spent 258, representing a performance of 86%. We have the schedule of utilization of this, and we take note that most of your money is in the projects.
Mr. Omai, can you present planning, budget and planning?
So I'm still giving him some of these facts. We take note that the biggest component of your budget goes to projects. So we are very interested in this down where the auditor assessed the extent of implementation of outputs that are outside the payroll with an expenditure worth UGX 109.476 billion, for which funds were warranted and utilized. You had 3 outputs worth 86 billion. These were fully implemented. We want to thank you for implementing this, but to interest you in the 12 outputs with an expenditure of 22.92 billion that were partially implemented, and the details are on Appendix 4. So we have partial implementation has its implications. You received the money, but you never implemented these outputs. Honorable colleagues, we can go to Appendix 4 to get the details of these outputs that were not implemented. The accounting officer explained that partially implemented activities were due to delayed procurements and non-disbursement of donor funds. That is the answer that you gave. And the recommendation, the auditor advised you to always ensure that budgets are revised so that you can, so that a proper assessment is done. Can you begin from there as we go to those activities? Because when one is to assess your performance in terms of percentages, Having only 86 and having 22. Anyway, the outputs that were implemented, the figure is higher, but explain the 22 that were partially implemented.
Chair, before they explain the 22, we note that on table 10, the amount that was warranted was 296, but what was spent was 39. I mean, was 256. A difference of, yes, 258, a difference of 39.961. What happened? Because if you are given this money and you didn't spend it, do you still have it?
Which table is that?
Table 10.
Warrants and actual expenditure.
The warrant and the actual.
Take 296 minus 258, the balance, the difference.
39.961.
You can explain. This is the expense. Yeah, there is.
Accountant has moved out.
Yes, I will take you to Chair through the PS. I will take you to page, our responses on page 19. Yes, management response. The poor budget assessment and reporting is occasioned by human resource gaps within the ministry and its decentralized structures and operational and implementation failure associated with delayed procurements and invoicing.
What led to the delays in procurement?
Chair, the non-disbursement on table 10 is largely on SEDEP. If you go to that table 10, yes, and that one was it was a donor-funded project. Now, what happened is that the funds that were released, the project, the World Bank did not release all of the funds, and that was the reason why, because at the time of the closure, the World Bank had not released much of the funds, and we are engaging the Minister of Finance that we have these funds to be released as a supplementary to have the deliverables accomplished.
We shall have to provide evidence of such delays. Colleagues, is there anything to submit on that? Yes, Honorable Choma.
Chair, just to seek for clarity, because when you look at what the accounting officer gave as a response to the auditors is totally different from what they are giving us now. Okay? Because the accounting officer then said that the partially implemented activities were due to delayed procurement and non-disbursement of donor funds. Yes. But now this is a new management response. That poor budget assessment and reporting is occasioned by human resource gaps within the ministry and its decentralized structures and blah, blah.
Isn't that a different thing?
No, but it is under the same.
The response is under the same?
Yes. This is a response to the committee, and the other one was a response to the auditors, but the two are not in tandem. So which one do we take?
Chair, we
Can you come and answer?
Honorable Choma, that is page what of the response as using the main report?
Page 19.
Page 18 to 19, Honorable Chair.
19.
18 to 19.
But even Chair, when that response talks about human resource gaps, there was under absorption on the wage. There was provision of 16,398, but you only spent 12,542. So you had resources to also cover up wage. That is human resource, which were not absorbed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I want to apologize. I think the response is highly misaligned to the query, but the right response is on wage, of course, on table, referring to table 10, showing utilization. Now on wage, of course, we could not spend all the wage because the recruitment process had not yet been finalized. So that money definitely was returned. Then on recurrent, the performance was 99%, which ideally is 100%. Then capital development, 98%. Then on the donor-funded projects, the amount which was warranted could not still be absorbed because there were the completion certificates of some of the works which was going on had not yet been completed. Thank you very much.
So
you are going one by one. Yes, you are going one by one. USMID is okay. Now SIDAP, specifically emphasize on that, on SIDAP. Yes, on SIDAP, because that is where the biggest component of low absorption is reflected.
On SEDEP, as my colleague had already said, of course, resources were warranted. There were two things. One, the procurement process was still ongoing, and the services which were already contracted had not yet finished doing the work. So you can't pay before services are provided. And this is a World Bank funded project, so there was no other way you could spend the money when work is not yet done.
So, honorable colleagues, let us allow them submit and the documents as evidence that there were these delays that led to. Now, timelines in submission of performance reports. Madam Pierce, how do you fail to?
Just a moment. Because this 99%, which he said is almost 100%, needs to be interrogated. May I take you to page 17 of your financials? Where we have statement of appropriation. Okay. And just pick one item of goods and services consumed, which is actually under recurrent. Goods and services consumed. You had budgeted for 138 billion. You got a supplementary for 19.2 billion. In total, it was 158.1 billion. You utilized 134.1 billion. Okay. And my first question there is that why would you seek for supplementary of 19 billion and ultimately you did not even utilize the original budget? Because the original budget is more than what you finally spent. So why did you have to seek for supplementary of 19 when actually the original budget of 138 billion is greater than the amount you spent of 134 billion? Because the 19 billion you are given as supplementary could have been used by other MDAs which we are lacking. Okay, that is the first question on that. Then relatedly, with all these, the original budget, the supplementary, you again spent over and above. You incurred areas. Let's go to page 13 in your statement of financial performance. Okay, and exactly the same item, goods and services. Okay, you spent 136 billion. It is kind of a paradox. Yeah? Your original budget, you have spent more than the original budget, but you also asked for supplementary. Okay, but even then, despite having all those monies, the original budget, the supplementary, you are committing government in two areas again. 136 billion. How does that one come about, Madam Accounting Officer?
Accounting Officer.
Accountant, can you answer that?
Regarding the supplementary, the supplementaries were given. There are two categories. Is under donor and then there is recurrent. Recurrent funds came for this purpose. Then under donor, those funds were not disbursed, and that's the reasons for the performance you're seeing here.
Can you repeat the funds from GOU supplementary? What was it for?
The GOU, it was for a specific purpose.
For a specific purpose?
Yes, the supplementary, and it was that very supplementary was 11 was spent.
But specific purpose relating to goods and services, right? Because may I only ask about goods and services?
The 19, those are supplementaries under donor, external funded fund, external funded projects.
But now what do we take? Because now, you see, I'm on record, you are on record.
Donor.
What have you withdrawn?
Externally funded projects. Not counterpart.
Let's be
Donor
clear.
funded.
Let's be clear.
It was
The,
donor money.
the adjustment refers to a supplementary, correct?
Yes.
Of 19 billion. And you are saying it was for a specific expense.
The total supplementary was 37.
No, let's look at.
Will you
goods and
kindly
services,
stick
particularly.
to goods and services as an item? I mean, that's what he's asking. Because he's saying 19, then for you are going to the total. Let us just add one item.
Chair, these accounts are consolidated. They combine recurrent and
all that we don't have to go back to school.
Funded funds.
We understand it. And for us, we are sticking to one item, goods and services. But for you are taking us to the total. Yet Honorable Tayebga was asking you about goods and services. As simple as that. We
Those
don't
are
want to
for donor funded projects.
Now let's go through, Mr. Accountant. Let's look at page 17, that row of goods and services. Right? The original budget was 138.9 billion. We don't know whether it includes both government and donor funded. But you still get an adjustment to supplementary of 19.2 billion, right? Now it comes to 158 billion. So we want to understand the 19 billion, was it from government of Uganda or it was donor funded that you got as a supplementary?
We got as supplementary for World Bank for resources.
So it was not from GOU?
Yes.
Now, you said it got as a supplementary and it was specific to be spent. So when you come to the total expenditure of 134 billion, right? It means that the 19 you got from the donor fund was spent. So what is not spent is what came, the money that came from government of Uganda.
Chair, when you look at the upper bit of the appropriation, we received 37 billion as a supplementary, comprised of 11 billion on recurrent and 25 billion on World Bank funded projects. That one on goods and services was for World Bank funded projects. The 11 billion was in fact meant to compensation of if I may, this was in Chankwans, land in Chankwans, 11 billion, and we paid it out.
That one is clear.
It's
because
clear.
even that one is clear. Let me explain it. Even from up, the 11 billion that was received is actually spent under other expenses as a supplementary. So that one cancels out.
Yes.
Now the 25 which is received, we have 19 as part of it and 6.3 for purchase of plant and property. That one. But what we are specifically looking at is the goods and services. That row alone. You got a supplementary of 19 billion, but you came and spent 134. So you got a supplementary, and this is what my colleague had asked. You got a supplementary, which is adds the money that you even spent less than what you had earlier been given.
The money we didn't get, it was SEDEP got a supplement of 25 billion, which funds were not disbursed by World Bank. But when it comes to warranting, once Parliament approves the budget, the supplementary, and the office of the accountant, they issue a warrant. That warrant goes on the system. It's within the donor funds operate. And what happens when it comes to donor external funded funds, warranting and disbursement of funds, at times they don't tally. You may warrant and they don't, the donors don't disburse. Yes.
So in short, you are saying that out of the money you have existed, the 138 for goods and services, or whichever is left from government of Uganda, is not spent all of it.
No.
Not spent all of it.
No, for GO it was spent. The balance which is here is for donor funded projects. The 25.
But you say that the one from donor fund came specifically to be spent.
It's the one for GOU, the one which came, which was clearing first for a particular purpose, and we paid it out.
That was
The 11 billion. It was not given. We warranted, but it was not given.
Yes, Honorable.
Still, this raises another question. Because the question it raises, you have an appropriation of 134, and you have donor funding, or rather 138. You come and spend actually 134, but you incur 136. Meaning that you are creating a domestic area of 2.6 billion. Why do you create a domestic area yet you have money more than given to you which would have covered that domestic area? Because I want you to look at page 17 and read it together with page 13, the statement of financial performance. And I'm looking specifically on goods and services. Do you see goods and services 136?
Yes.
Now, read it together with page 17. The money given of 138, but spent 134, and create an area of 2.6 billion.
Out of the what?
It was all warranted.
Yes, it was warranted but not released.
No. You see, I think you don't need to confuse the committee.
Not confusing. The other one, there was
no,
one.
wait a minute.
Yes.
What happens? Government of Uganda, Minister of Finance, using single entry. What happens is this, that when money is warranted to you, it only waits for you to send payments and they clear from what is warranted. It's only when you have not sent payments that money is not spent. You are refuting that?
Yes.
So tell me what is right.
Yeah, what happened? The one you are referring to is the GOU. That one goes to the consultant fund. But the one for donor-funded projects, they have specific accounts.
Okay.
Operational
Me,
accounts.
I was interested in the government of Uganda. But even then, even if it is the donor-funded, and you are indicating here that it has been warranted,
yes,
then you have no reason to spend less when the money is given to you and create areas.
Chair, I think I had earlier explained that. When it comes to warranting for projects, most specifically donor-funded, you warrant based on the warrant issued by Accountant General, but it does not always rhyme with the disbursement. Now, for this time, we warranted for SEDEP, but all the money was not disbursed. We based on the warrant issued from Minister of Finance.
Why is money warranted and not spent?
It was not disbursed because...
Why is money warranted and not disbursed? Because that's why you are lying. I said for single treasure account, you don't keep the money. The money is put in a book, in a basket. Every entity, as long as it is warranted to you, you have a right over it. Every entity, whenever it disperses or sends invoices, they are paid from that warranty.
Chair,
what you don't spend, wait a minute. What you don't spend, it remains as unspent but warranted. The question is, these areas you are creating should have been sent to them and be paid because already the money is warranted.
Chair, we through the PS we have two categories. We have the GOU. That one goes to the consolidated fund. Those funds are the one which were spent to 99%. Now, when it came to this other which was warranted and not disbursed, we couldn't spend without having the physical money on the account. I think the project account can explain further.
But head of accounts.
Yes, it was the issue warrant for project, the World Bank funded projects. They issue a warrant which you put on the system, but no funds were released for that.
But head of accounts.
It will take us far.
Honorable
head of accounts. For these donor-funded projects, in most cases, for money to come as a supplementary, okay, the money is actually there. You are reporting you've gotten money, and you want it. You actually revise the budget because you've gotten the money from donors. You've included it, and the rest is for you to do what? To spend.
Chair.
In most cases.
Chair, if I may respond to that, in fact, the ministry continuing engaging Minister of Finance, and as a result, recently a supplementary was given to meet those obligations which are not handled because of non-disbursement by World Bank.
Chair, can we have details of the 19.2 supplementary?
By the way, Father Chair, let's also understand.
They should give us details.
How did you incur the 2.6 billion as areas which were not approved?
Chair, I mean, some of those were contractual obligations. I think the schedule will be provided.
Because we look at the appropriation account, we look at what has been approved, and we look at your actual performance in the financial performance statement. It is higher by 2.6, meaning you incurred domestic areas, or you incurred some transactions that never appeared in your budget, and therefore were not approved.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Honorable.
I am seeking for your guidance. You see, sometime back when we are teaching, UTV by then used to bring quiz questions, and the answer where you would fail to answer a question, you would just say pass, then you move on. We are here flogging the dead horse without giving us conclusive answers, and it takes us so long not to conclude our queries. What did you lose, Madam Accounting Officer, by copying from UBC as of then? That where the answers are not easy for you, you say pass.
Honorable
yes, we move for other queries. Because, you know, Madam Chair, even us who are not good accountants, but the training we have got from this committee, you look at the figures and the questions, the answers don't satisfy you, but you continue asking, we are flogging a dead horse. Yeah, there are no details, they are not given to the auditors. Me, I'm helping you, by the way.
Honorable,
you fail, you say pass.
Honorable colleagues.
For us, we sustain the query and move.
Honorable colleagues, accounting officer, you will explain. Let's leave it at that.
Chair, the schedule for the addition for the areas which were committed is attached and it was provided.
Yeah, Chair, I think let's as observed.
What about the details for the 19.2 billion supplementary?
Chair.
The details, I think, said that the project will provide the details of the funds for which they are.
Chair, as I don't know how can
Chair, as explained,
let them provide documents, proceed.
Was for SEDEP and it was given as per the work plan.
You will provide the details. Let us proceed.
Chair, I'll provide the details, please. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable colleagues. We need to move to item. We take note of these others because of time. We will not cover everything. But let's go to the mandate of this entity, land registration in Uganda. Failure to provide the requested information. Madam Accounting Officer, go to 3.41 about land registration in Uganda. The audit team requested for information and submissions made by the various MDAs, SGR and processed titles for the projects. You did not provide those titles for these processed projects.
Madam Chair, the answer is given, but what I can say, I'm going to request my officer from land registration to respond to this. But what I can say in summary is that we have written to the various MDAs. We are working closely together with the various MDAs to get them titles, except some have not really submitted the names of the schools, and there are some attendant requests we make so that their titles are made, especially schools, health centers, SDR. But SDR have even assigned officers there. But I will allow the officer from land registration to respond.
Yes, Honorable.
I am also very passionate on this area. Madam PS, the number of schools in Uganda, basically Kampala City, have asked you to provide them with land titles. You have refused. They are not there, and that's why people are stealing their property. Even we had the query here, I think, from a certain entity, where still they have constructed this, they have built good structures, but they have no land titles.
That was under DPP.
DPP. Why does it take long for you to issue out land titles, yet land is public? Secondly, you find where they are going to construct a road, the land titles are easily given out to people who are going to sell that land to the by then it was UNRWA or Ministry of Works to get money to allow that road to go through by getting a lot of money. So where there is business, land titles are easily released. Where there is government entities like schools, where they're going to encroach on their land, you don't provide them with their land titles.
Accounting officer expedite the process.
Can you answer?
Through you, Madam PS, thank you.
Chairperson, does my question come here?
Let him respond, then you add on.
You see, land titles are demand driven. The entity that is utilizing the land is the one which has to apply. The blame would be that this entity applied and the ministry has delayed. And we don't have many of those cases. For those which have applied, we have gone out of our way to even go and correct small errors. But for others, you find that the land is conflicted, but they come here without clarifying the cause of the delay and they give one-sided reason. I want someone who says that everything was in order, I applied and the ministry has taken more than, the 1, 2, 3 months to give me this title.
But Chief, did you look at the query of the auditor? The audit team requested for information and submissions made by various MDAs and MDAs, SGR, and processed titles for the projects, and information was not provided.
Through Madam PS, we have been going back and forth on this. SGR, UTCL, UNRWA, and ETC. At first, they had used consultants. And these consultants, for various reasons, many of them abandoned the work halfway. Others submitted files which had queries, and they never followed up to correct those queries. It's after some of these meetings we have had that we have agreed on the issues on these files, and we are addressing them.
So what's the progress?
The progress is that those which had queries, they have returned them back to them. The ones which were okay, we are processing.
Honorable Kwang, you had something to say?
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. Mine was as the officer or the accounting officer is talking about the land titles. I have had a number of issues, pressure from people from Karamoja, that Ministry of Lands came there on a survey plan for selective town councils. They did that in 2024. Up to now, no information is existing of whether the titles are ready, and even the service providers were not paid up to this moment, about 14 months down the road. What is the way forward? Can you tell us such that it is easy for me to remove the rope from my neck? It's good you are here. Tell us.
Okay, through you, Madam PS and the Chair, it is true we were piloting that area under the World Bank. By the time the project closed, we had not finished. But also, along the way, we had issues with the boundaries. I think the municipality and whatever boundaries. But we have been assured by the accounting officer, as soon as funds are available, this is one of the priority areas. Because we are piloting this mass titling in that area. We are going to finish it up.
Okay. Thank you, but I think the bandwidth issues were, you had officers on the ground that finished those things. I would not like to hear that there were excuses of that kind. But I'm happy you are saying funds available, which I think you are here for. If it is in part of this, that will be good.
Duplicated titles, or you duplicate titles. A review of 212 records of the processed titles were submitted to GIFT and noted that 10 duplicates had indicated below. The auditor noted that is table 34.12. We have several files here. The titles were duplicated. How does that come about?
Through you, Chair, there were no duplicated titles as stated in the above table. It is normal for one certificate of title to relate more than one parcel. Normally, you'll find block 1, but it has plot 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you don't read it carefully, because they share the same instrument number and the lodgement date.
So you want to mean that the auditor didn't read carefully?
No. It was the misinterpretation, really.
But Madam Chair, let us look at the one of Ginger, number 1 and number 2. Lodging, the same date, registration, same date, time, same date, location, same. The volumes are the same, folio the same, block the same, plot the same, size the same.
This was a conversion.
That what?
It was a conversion. I particularly interrogated this transaction, and we realized it was a conversion, I think, from leasehold to freehold.
Let us go through. There are two.
Honorable Song, let Honorable Mudini finish first.
There are two. Equally, the one of 3 and 4, the same. No, that one is different because the size. But I'm looking at the first one, the one of Ginger.
That was a conversion, Honorable Member.
But you're converting what, the same piece of land?
Yes, when you are converting from a lease to a freehold, you convert the exact acreage, exact plot number, and you use that.
So you mean the auditor could not get that explanation? He wasn't competent enough to understand what you are explaining. By then.
No, we need to look at
Yes, Honorable Sir.
You see, let us be specific, and this one now goes to my friend, the Undersecretary. When an issue comes about a duplicate title, what do you understand about that title? Let us get it through him, Madam Accounting Office. When they say issuing of duplicate titles, what does it mean?
Thank you, Chair, and through my PS. I think that's what my colleague is saying, the issue of interpretation. Because that would mean that duplicate title, if you are talking about a duplicate title, it means that the titles are issued into one original one and then the duplicate one which is given to the owner of the land. Then the other one is a registry copy that remains in the registry. So that is what would be a duplicate title, because everyone else has a duplicate title, the original being kept as a registry copy. But now when it comes to conversion, I mean to what the auditor stated, I think what they meant to say is that one title is being lodged or is appearing twice, as if there are two titles relating to the same thing. But here it is that you lodge a transaction which relates to conversion, and of course you are beginning with the leasehold and then you are moving towards the freehold.
Why do you delay to issue titles? 3.45? No, 3.413. Delay to process land titles.
Madam Chair, this particular query is that the U-Gift project, we came in later. We didn't start with it. It was a response of the many complaints that people had raised that we came in to assist. And when we came in, we realized that actually they had so many problems, including, because most of these institutions were from church-aided, foundation bodies, and others were families which also had claims, which had allocated these schools. So there was an issue of agreements, which they are not resolved. But I'm glad to report that now we are at about 75% performance after coming into support Ministry of Finance and Finance.
If we... Yes, Honorable Song.
I have been in the Committee of Education for some time. And as long as I'm there, I will not leave that committee because I'm a teacher. But, Madam Chair, let us take this matter seriously. There are a lot of these schools which have stalled as a result of this query. I don't know whether you are aware of that. And the query raised by these people, and your answer, Mr. I'm sorry I came late, I never learned your name. But yes.
Mr. Land.
The answer here is not clear. It's not clear. I think we should be giving us a better answer. Why do they come in to ask for these land titles? Because the funders find it as a problem. And many of them have stalled because of that. And the Minister of Education is putting the accusation on you as Uganda Land Commission. I don't know that I'm speaking the truth.
As Minister of Lands. Now, as you make a response to that, can you give us details on the timeline? For example, if somebody made a submission for request for title, how long does it take the person to get the title? According to your plan, and that should be the client charter. How long does it take somebody to, assuming I've come, having everything, how long should it take me to get a title from the Minister of Lands?
From Minister of Lands, upon submission by the, forwarding by the District Land Committee, and everything is in order, it's 10 days.
So within 10 days?
Yes.
Everything in order.
Yeah, you see, some people don't bring documentation.
But me, Madam Chair, I'm in disagreement with you. Here they are stating out of 212 gift schools, 196 submissions were delayed, and it is ranging from 14 to 1,419 days. If it is 1,419 days, how many days does a year have? This is the query they are having, and the appendix is there. I don't know that is on my file. So you look at that seriously.
Yeah, that's where I was going. It's talking about 10 days. So you want to mean that these ones failed to submit the required documents. But even if they did, these days are simply too many. From 14 to 1,419 days. How many years are those? Somebody abandons. All of the 196 abandoned. But I mean, they're talking about now what you're going to do. We need to get the details of these projects. I think they have been referred to in Appendix 5. Honorable Sewungu, read through them and you guide. Read through Appendix 5 as we proceed, and you look at the days that it took. They must have given specifics of each title. Have they?
I don't have the appendix.
You don't have the appendix.
I don't have
Let's look for the appendix and have that sorted. Yeah. But just note, you delay to issue titles. That is a common.
They should also
it's a common practice here. But 1,400.
Madam Chair, they should also give us an updated institutions they have given their titles as per the query. If they could provide that, it can solve a lot of issues.
We'll provide. We have the information.
It will be my tool to come back to you when I'm in the other sessional committee.
Now, there is something important.
And you know, I'm the Shadow Minister of Education.
Lack of standardized remuneration of area land committees. I asked you, as an entity, what is your contribution to the fight against corruption in this country? I'm realizing you are being so good and generous. You buy organic manure and try to, put entities, install entities down there. Without, how do you have area land committees that are not, they are not paid? The auditor notes that these the area land committees are not remunerated. They work for free. They are giving a free service. They work for Bulungi Wansi. And you know how important these committees are down there. So for you send them down. You give them office to look for how they can pay themselves.
Thank you, Honorable. The way they come into being is that they are appointed at those local councils levels, and they are supposed to be funded by the districts. But we have also realized that they don't do that, and we have appealed to government, and we are putting in a regulation to see that those area land committees are funded, because the problems we have on land is that if the area land committees are not funded, they sometimes are compromised. So we are now putting in a requisition so that we are putting in a requisition so that from that lower level, government comes in and funds them, so that by the time we get the output at district level, it is correct.
But honorable colleagues, you see how land issues originate. You have an area land committee that you facilitate yourself. Government has put the structure in place. Now they will sit and determine how they will get their payment. So it is transactional. Now you come here and commit on the fight against corruption, yet you institute offices where people are not clear of how they will be and people, they are going to appoint these new, the new office bearers are going to appoint these area land committees.
Madam Chair, that's why I'm telling you, conflicts will not end. Because once you sit and facilitate a group, they'll do everything in your favor, even if it's wrong. So, this is it.
Yes,
and above all, you see, someone is still talking to her.
No, she's...
Madam PS, the recommendation from the auditors say, kindly, can you draft a policy to guide the committees on the percentage of remuneration for their involvement? Okay, they are talking about that. May I want it even more than that, better than that.
But Honorable Sawungu, there is something serious. For how long have these area land committees been in place? And the government has never realized that there is a serious, how do you have somebody handle an important, land is something.
I was coming to that. For me, I have areas where people are sitting on public land and they want, some people come, they rush to get titles, so they start charging these people money from the tenants. But the best answer, if these land committees were functioning well with the districts, it would be easier for these people to get their own land
Madam
titles,
Accounting
because you can no
Officer,
longer displace them.
On a serious note, all honorable colleagues, this is a matter that should be urgently handled. Otherwise, we shall never stop having land conflicts. Whoever pays to the committee, if I pay the committee, they will do what I want. So you put an office and, you told people to go and see how they can survive. ISTB that takes it all, and Madam PS in the Ministry of Lands is very comfortable. Please look for where to pay yourselves from. For us, we don't have money, we don't have a policy, we have nothing, but we need you. Go and look for how best you can, cater for yourself in regard to remuneration. Is that being fair?
Honorable Chairperson, we had already guided on who to fund these area land committees, but the fact is the districts cannot pick it up, and now we are lobbying government to be for them to be funded from the consolidated fund from the center, because at first in the law it is very clear the district councils are supposed to fund these committees, but from practice we have realized that it can't happen because they don't have enough money. So we are lobbying government, and recently I issued a circular on that effect, that you are supposed to do this, but let's put our efforts to fund these area land committees, because as you observe, really, they are the initiators of security of land tenure, so we should be able to pick it up, and
why don't you stop their services till when you get
because there will be chaos.
No, but I mean you are creating chaos too. You are creating chaos. My friend, for you may think you're stopping them, because look at, you are creating chaos too. So, do you know how many land conflicts, complaints of land conflicts that there are at local governments? This is where RDCs have come to intrude. Everyone is a land manager down there. Sincerely, this thing causes confusion. How I wish you can expedite 40 years of, 63 years of independence. For how long have these officers been in place? You also found them there. If one asked, for how long have they been in place? We have never thought of such an important matter. The most valuable asset in this world is land. And here we are, we tell people to go and look for money on how they can survive. This is very regrettable, Madam PS, and I will whoever, I don't know who is on you have a lands committee independent now. This matter needs to be, followed upon. They have just executed one, but we executed one. We need to have this matter handled. Lastly, why do you have idle assets? The auditor notes that from the review of the asset register, this is 3.52, and physical verification of motor vehicles, they revealed that you have, yes.
Kindly, a brief one because I have to go with what you are giving, but I have issues. A brief one, lack of updated atlas. What is the problem? We don't have an atlas. And this question is very important. You remember when there was a very big statement that Uganda Kingdom was not in the map of Uganda. What solves all this is having an updated atlas. So when you talk about removing Uganda on Uganda map, see how are the children in Uganda going to start about their kingdom, Uganda Kingdom, when it is not in the map?
How did I skip that?
Yeah, an atlas. Which was just drawn 1967. Even me, I was not born by then, old as I am. How are our children studying without a proper updated atlas? Because as we talk now, they have created new districts. Now, if there are new districts, it automatically means that you're going to show different new administrative structures and the areas in the map of Uganda.
Honorable Susan.
So people of Kalungu, they don't belong anywhere in Uganda's atlas.
Chair,
because Kalungu was created in 2011.
Chair, it appears the atlas is talking about is different from the one which...
I don't know. You can teach me.
Clarify.
Which atlas is this?
I will ask the officer from Southern Mapping to comment on the progress we have made on the atlas.
Is that the one I'm talking about as a primary teacher, or is it different? Because I'm looking at the one of O level, A level.
Chair, through my permanent secretary, thank you. It is true we have not had an updated national atlas, but as the ministry, we are already undertaking in the processes of updating it. An atlas is a composition of very many maps which describe, some of them have to describe the location of our tourism sites, others are topographic maps, others are minerals, others are climate, and so forth. So it is more than just administrative boundaries. So some of these data is collected from the different entities that collect this data, like we have written to the Minister of Energy, we have written to Minister of Tourism, we have already communicated with the Minister of Water and Environment. Some of them already responded, and we are now compiling and updating the atlas. So it will soon be readily available for printing. Thank you.
How long is it going to take you? But
Chair.
Honorable Susan first.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, allow me to introduce myself. I've been on and off, but I'm Susan Mugabe, the woman member of Parliament for Uvuma District. Chair, the issue of mapping is a serious one because there are instances where you find that land in some district, when you go to Ministry of Lands, you find it in some other district. Of course, like the way Honorable Suwanga has said, that there has been a creation of new districts. But a case in point for Uvuma District has never been part of Busoga region. Uvuma District has been part of Uganda region, and it was part of Mukono District. But there are instances where you find islands, for instance, in Irubia sub-county. When you go for search, they are in Jinja District, and we've made efforts, but nothing. The process is very slow. For almost now 10 years, we've been requesting for transfer of islands, titles of islands to Mukono District. but it has been in vain. And I don't know how that can be handled, because we are denying land rights to the people of my district. We need an answer.
Thank you, Honorable. Honorable Song, anything to add?
You see, Madam PS, through the my chair, sincerely, how are we teaching our children? Because the private publishers are making atlases which are not sanctioned by you. And as a result, they are teaching children things which are not correct, but they continue getting wrong information, as the Honorable Susan Namuga has stated. The issue of not having a national atlas, and the National Cultural Development Center is sanctioning atlases which have not been prepared by you as by mandate. Because government entities work hand in hand, but the authority lies in your hands. I am now fearing what our children are learning. And I was a teacher, and I'm still a teacher. It is in the P5 when the students start handling atlases to learn. And basically, in the P5, they learn about Uganda. Uganda as a country. That's the topic of SST in primary 5. I don't know whether things have changed, but we shall find out. But I think, Madam Chair, you have to give a CRC directive on this as a committee, because the auditors have seen it, and it is a big, big problem. Meaning that now even our districts, many as they are not known. And these are the questions given to children at P5, even P7 level.
And this also affects the physical planning part of it.
And it's business for you, by the way. It's business. So once they are published, you make money out of them.
Honorable colleagues, the current National Atlas is 58 years old. The government is 40 years old. So we have 63 years of independence. Madam PS, you know, there are things that are very shameful. How can it be on record that a very competent and able, experienced PS can comfortably sit in the Ministry of Lands? You are not comfortable. And we have been, you know, we have been issuing titles, location. What do you rely on?
I have conflict of interest because she's my sister.
She's your
because
sister.
She knows that even if Sebei and Ogisu, we have a boundary issue.
A boundary issue. You know, honorable colleagues, we are going to speak slowly. Madam, we are not being heard by the country out there, but it's embarrassing. Hope people have not heard, but it's very embarrassing of a country, independent, 63 years old. And we don't have a national atlas.
Thank you. Thank you. We have taken note of the concern. Actually, that's why we went to all entities to ask them to submit, and we are going to work on it expeditiously.
Chair, with due respect, let me intervene. Let her give us timeline.
Yes, that's what I was going
Please,
to do.
give her the timeline.
My Department of Survey and Mapping, we are going, in the next 12 months, we will have a national atlas.
That's it,
because it is very important that we get it. You can imagine how Buvuma has been taken out of, yes, and not only Sebei, it is no longer Sebei. It is Bulambuli, Kwen, whatever. There are so many. We are going to try and
the other
within
the
12
Department
months,
of Survey and what?
Survey and Mapping.
What have they been mapping?
Anyway,
honorable colleagues, because you have made our day, and we are going to take you for lunch. Kindly from here. Banyemo Rachel, because it's an achievement, but it's an embarrassment, Madam PS. The Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, the one who has been convincing us on how she's going to manage Kasokoso. She's going to construct low-cost houses. We all appreciate that effort. But with due respect, these are basics to your operation. And this shows that as a country, we are not prepared to serve people. This is a very serious indictment on your mandate, a very serious one. So really, when you get to when you get back, tell your minister that for me, if I was the head of state, the minister would be out of office by now. What is she doing? Out. We don't know whether the luck stays on the minister or the PS. I want to mention the other one, but
Minister, Madam Chair, the minister is very okay. She's doing her politics, but it is these people who are for administrative work. The minister is political. If there is here tomorrow, is not there. I'm here tomorrow. I'm not here. So for her, she said, no, I told them, they didn't refuse.
We pledge we are going to produce the national atlas because so many things have changed over time, and we are going to come up with one within 6 to 12 months from now.
Madam PS,
Madam Chair, Madam Chair, for the benefit of members here, and especially those who are interested in the boundaries, there is nothing you've lost. It had to take us with the support from the ministry to go and verify boundary issues in the UK for purposes of resolving the conflict between the Tororo County and West Bram. So even those who are saying Sebei and Bulambuli, if Minister of Lands, for which I know they have the genuine ones, because what we got in the UK, we were being blamed by the people in the archives there, the Commonwealth archives, that you have these things in your what? In your archives. But because as countrymen here we doubt what is with our entities, we go and verify there. So Bulambuli and Kwen, you can verify that. Even the Buvuma and the Busoga, that one, I want to assure you that where you're doubting what is in the Ministry of Lands, you will verify there and still get what is here. So just to put those things together and release them.
Madam PS.
Chair, with due respect, the PS has given us that, but by taking what the honorable colleague has said, it will be an indictment on our government that we will trust the former colonialists. But I believe that you should pick it up because things we are the ones.
The colonialists did a better job.
No. I think.
But I mean, he has told you he went there. You want to?
He went there, but Tororo issue still remains. But the question is that why we are saying for timeline, boundaries are serious issues. The location of a nation, not only that, even local government, is a matter which is vital. And let's take by her commitment, by the ministry and the government that 12 months we have it.
I reached
and I believe NRM will deliver on that.
You believe what?
Don't worry.
I reached an extent of looking for a definition of an atlas for me to convince myself of the impact of not having one. But honorable colleagues, it's much as my colleague is committing, you know, that is how best you can protect the gains. But see, we we have these idle assets. We shall protect Honorable Sehungu, utilization of idle assets, and we are concluding with this. You have on a review of the asset register and physical verification of motor vehicles revealed that out of 80 sampled motor vehicles costing 14.4 billion as per Appendix 7, this is Appendix 7, 6 motor vehicles worth 1.3 billion were either idle and underutilized since they were grounded in garages. How many vehicles do you have that are grounded? Honorable colleagues, as she submits, we need to come out seriously on the issue of disposal of assets. Many entities of government have idle vehicles down there. Yet if they repaired, two of you, kind request, repair these two and give them to Zimbabwe district. No, as you look at, there are some that can be repaired. What I'm trying to mean is there are some that you find when they are not that much badly off, yet when repaired, police down there has no even a motorcycle, even a bicycle. So we need to pronounce ourselves seriously on these old assets in government scattered everywhere.
Chair to supplement. I think it's a question of how an inventory register for the properties and assets. So I think other than asking that how many do you have, they have to give us a record of the inventory of the assets. And that
Yes.
has to be documented somehow.
Just goes back to what we had before. Actually, you don't have to spend on time on it. Still, your failure to have a disposal plan brings this. But keeping vehicles in garages is not proper. I think you because what the auditor is saying here is that the motor vehicles motor vehicles were either idle and unutilized. Why are they idle? Those are still in good condition, but they are doing nothing. But you bought them. That means you bought vehicles that were not necessary. Unutilized, since they were grounded in garages for more than 3 years. Now, how can a vehicle be in a garage for more than 3 years? And you know, Madam PS, through the chair, some of these people here, you saw our friends, they tell us, my car's been there, nothing is happening. Say, when you don't see me for your function, you now have no vehicle to use. But a car being in a garage for 3 years.
That is 3 months? It can't be 3 months.
No, you have
Is
said
it 3 months?
Okay, 3 months. You know, Mr. Juko is the one who is defending that. Yours is okay and you are driving it very well with your driver. We shall talk, but whatever, keeping them there for that time is not safe for you. Because your officers will be complaining that my vehicle has not been worked on so that I can utilize it.
Thank you, honorable colleagues. Honorable, you went out and refreshed.
Yeah,
So let us know. Join us on the next. Honorable Silas, join us on the next one. Honorable colleagues, let us proceed. I had thought we would conclude with that one, but PS, kindly be patient with us on this matter of value for money audit report on implementation of land administration by the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. We cannot leave this one unhandled. Let's speak to it, and at least we have it on record that we have taken note of the matters that have been raised under land administration and management in the Ministry of Lands. The auditor notes that the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development established the MZOs across the country with the pilot phase in 2013 of 6 MZOs of Kampala, Wakiso, Mukono, Jinja, Masaka and Mbara after Uganda National Lands Information System was developed by 2019. 14 additional MZOs were added. Take note of those MZOs. This was done in an effort to decentralize and bring land administration services closer to the people. We want to thank you, Madam, for bringing land administration closer to the people. We commend you for that. These regional offices are responsible for operationalizing the Uganda National Lands Information System and providing land services on behalf of the Ministry of Lands. Despite the creation of the MZOs and introduction of the Land Management Information System in 2013 for implementation of land administration in Uganda, there are still challenges in the provision of land services such as delays in processing land titles by the MZOs, land fraud arising out of forgeries of land titles, and fraudulent land transaction, poor interagency coordination in regard to MDA's involvement in land administration, and Ministry of Lands meeting its objectives in land administration. Limited sensitization on land services offered through the administration by the MZOs / the Ministry of Lands. It's against this background that the Office of the Auditor General conducted a value for money audit on implementation of land administration by the Ministry of Lands. And these are the summaries that the auditor identified. Number 1, out of the total of 934,645 land registration applications that were received over a period, only 657,384 applications were completed. Number 2, despite the digitization, processing of land transactions exceeded the standard timeline set in the client charter, with the turnaround times consistently longer than the standard for each transaction type across all land offices. The average completion rate per transaction in all the MZOs deteriorated over the years from 77% in 2021-22 to 41% in 2024-25. The delays were mainly caused by incomplete digitization and problems within the Uganda National Land Information System, such as missing personal information, incomplete or inaccurate mapping, weak front desk verification processes, and survey details that could not be reliably aligned to the cadastral map. Forged titles, double titling, and fraudulent transactions still exist in Wakiso, Busiro MZO, taking the lead for such cases. Wakiso takes training and controls for detecting forged documents. For example, national IDs, land titles, LOC recommendation letters. Lastly, despite the Ministry of Land's commitment to sensitize citizens, this was not consistently done at different levels across MZOs, as many clients are unaware of the MLSI and required documentation. This has negatively impacted service delivery, transparency, and public awareness. You were advised by the auditor. Can you take us through this, even if I don't read the details of the advice of the auditors? This was a value for money report in regard to the MZOs, but we commend you for putting the MZOs in place. Please take our flowers, and we are going to have lunch for that, paid for by Parliament of Uganda for having MZOs in place. But now we are asking, are they? And the Under Secretary has not clapped, because if I told you to take us for lunch, do you have the budget line for that? No, we don't. So if we have, really, you should also clap for us for offering. So tell us about the MZOs, then we close the chapter.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. And cleaning of the land registry is continuous, and the backlog of scanned but uncommitted records at the UG NLIS are being handled on a case-by-case because of mismatching records, while in some MZOs they require cadastral updates. Just to mention but a few, comprehensively, this is attainable within the 2 years to have data completely cleaned up, because some data cannot be processed because of some of the challenges. Resources allowing, the Ministry plans to continuously train our front desk and data entry officers to check for completeness of applications before they are accepted. Same for land officers and registrars on fraud detection techniques and document verification. But of course, on this one, we are also using technology. Like for IDs, we don't check IDs manually. We are integrated with the NIRA. So some of those are already being catered for through the systems we have. Also for letters of administration and other documents from judiciary, we are integrating our systems so that we check online other than looking at the documents, because some of those documents that are brought to be registered, we have to write to those entities issuing them in order to deal away with the forgeries, and that of course delays the period within which the transactions are completed. The much anticipated upgrade of the UGNIS will be based on the emerging technologies such as blockchain and artificial intelligence, which will be able to deal out with some of the issues that cannot be detected by human beings easily. Fraud prevention guidelines will be issued and will greatly minimize fraud in land transactions. The Ministry has an open API hosted at NITA-U UG Hub for integration where necessary. Requests for integration from various MDAs are evaluated, and where necessary integrations have been made. And as advised, the Ministry is to undertake the exercise of developing a national standardized sensitization strategy that will guide all MZOs with more regular and uniform outreach programs. I submit, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Kabusu in a red tie. No, you know, somebody was thinking that Honorable Kabusu is the one in a yellow one. Kabusu is in a red tie. The yellow one is Rokwang. So differentiate between the two.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Madam Chairperson, allow me commend the Ministry first for integrating some of their activities onto. Is it? We receive messages sometimes when they make transactions on our land titles.
Okay.
Somebody lodged a caveat on my title in Masaka, and I received the messages until it was dislodged or vacated. So I thank you and urge you to continue. Many people are taking our land titles without your involvement, but those initiatives will protect some of our property. I wanted to know, Madam Chairperson, why is it continuing that Ministry of Lands, their team, especially the survey and mapping, are creating titles, freehold titles, on Milo, on top of Milo? And it is common in areas like in Karangala, where they are absentee landlords. They will appear as if the land titles or the registered proprietors do not exist, and so they sit freehold titles. Then they create legal challenges between the former owners and the new owners who have been created. And two, Madam Chairperson, I've been in active legal practice, private legal practice, and my honorable colleagues also who do practice will tell you there is a practice that Ministry of Lands should fight to stop. These MZOs you have been talking about, where did this practice of people lodging documents folded with envelopes come from, and when will it end? Folded with envelopes. Transactional transactions.
The area land committees have no budget.
No, Madam Chairperson, I'm not talking about area land committees. Registries, MZOs, these men. I know they are aware. I wanted them to commit to themselves.
And Honorable PS, what the member is speaking about is true. Corruption in land offices, that has been, it is in public domain, so it's not something we can really even, I mean, we cannot give a defense on that.
Madam Chairperson, before Honorable Narukola, something to substantiate on that very specific issue.
Madam Chair, I thank you for the latitude. When I receive a certificate of title, I pay all the dues necessary, stamp duty among others. We submit. And then a demand comes that without paying an extra fee, your certificate of title will not be worked upon. It's very hard to get a certificate of title transferred from one name, from the former registered proprietor to a new one without paying extra money, which does not reach the government coffers. It's a very bad practice. When will it end? How can we fight it? What have you done to fight that vice? I thank you, Madam Chair.
So,
Madam, as I'm concluding, when Internal Affairs preferred that there should be classification of issuance of passports, to some people want them too urgently and others can wait. They put a charge for those who want their passports urgently, and that charge reaches the government coffers. But why doesn't Ministry, if they want to charge us extra money, why don't they come up with such an arrangement? Ministry of Health, when people need private treatment in Mulago, they go to this specialized private ward, and others go to another ward. Does Ministry of Lands operate a parallel system where people should pay differently and others also be treated differently? Like Honorable Naikola has said, if you don't accompany your transaction with money, it will either not come out, it will not be scanned, it won't be intaken, outtaken. You know those practices. Madam Docas, you're a legal practitioner. Please fight and stop that.
Thank
so
you.
have you created a private wing within the Ministry of Lands?
Thank you.
Honorable Saungu, then Honorable Silas, you'll come last, then we'll conclude.
Madam Chair.
We have Minister of
And
Local
I'm
Government
lucky,
waiting.
Honorable Kabusa has told us, I never know that she's a legal practitioner. But the issue of forged titles, I wonder how up to now, Uganda Land Commission, you issue titles which have not paid the stamp duty. And the courts observe that in front of your own commissioners in the court. How does it happen that someone, land dealers, can process titles and they get them without stamp duty? Well, but you are arguing, I'm going to show you a leading case. I will not mention these facts. Counsel, I'm telling you this. The facts are there. You have not denied them because you have to deny them while in court. Once judgment comes out where your commissioner was one of the witnesses in the court, then why? But how does that happen? And these are not the old judgments. They are recent judgments.
Thank you, Honorable.
When do you put your staff to book? Who issues such titles?
Honorable Silas.
Madam Chair, I don't know whether that's the very thing that I wanted to know.
Okay.
But my issue is about double titling. Somebody already has a title. Another one is claiming for a title. And you are the ones authorizing for the second title. How does it happen? Because I thought that you people would be having an automatic record that can So what do I tell my voters? When they want to protect their land from second titling, what should they do? What should they look out
what
for?
should the member tell the voters
What should
in
I tell
regard
the
to
voters?
issues of duplication of land titles? But this is what he's talking about is common. Very, very common. PS response?
Chair, just a quick one. Chair, about double titling, Chair, or forgery or forging of land titles. Chair, the instances where you find NFA is fighting for land somewhere that it is their land, and then they want people to vacate that land. Then also the same land is having people with titles of the same land, and it is titles versus NFA. How does that come about? Because I'm having so many issues about the same in Buvuma district. NFA is telling people to vacate land, and the same land people are claiming it is theirs, and they have the land titles.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm going to allow a number of officers to answer those questions briefly, but we'll begin with the Undersecretary, then the Commissioner Land Registration, then the survey and mapping, because these are around
The one
those
who
areas.
doesn't have an atlas, but we shall proceed.
The atlas,
Where is the one without the
head-
atlas? Doesn't have what to tell us.
You can even talk about it.
Okay, Undersecretary, please, but let's at least within 2 minutes. We have local government
Thank
waiting.
you, Chair and members. Of course, land matters are complex, but maybe I will begin with the one of revenue. Previously, there were a lot of cases with forging of stamp duty, but with the integration of the Ministry of the Land Information Systems and URA, the verification for payment of stamp duty is done online, and that has greatly reduced on the fraud and forgeries. That has greatly reduced on the instances of forging and duplicating the payments. So we check on the system. And of course, also when it comes to the land titles, we enhance the features of the new land titles coming out. On the searches, you will realize that even now we put the picture of the person together with the NIN number, so that you are able to be sure that the person you are dealing with is the one who is registered in the Ministry of Lands and known, and whose particulars are there. Otherwise, you will get a forged title on the system and someone is claiming to be that other person. And then when it comes to the other vices of the envelopes and other things, of course, those have been a challenge. And whereas I don't want to say that our staff are not involved, but there are also other middlemen who claim to act on behalf of the registered proprietors, and they ask money purportedly for the officers. Some could be going to the officers, but some is a game of the middlemen. And what the ministry is doing is to, first of all, regulate those brokers, because we are coming up with the law, but also we are looking at fully automating land transactions on top of the integrations that we have, so that now the interface, the human interface, is reduced. We are looking at a situation where a surveyor should be able to do the surveying and submit the data online without the requirement of going to the ministry zonal office for transactions. Where we have done mass titling, we don't actually interface with the registered proprietors. We go and pick the data, we process the titles from Entebbe, and then we deliver finished titles. So those interventions will go a long way in dealing away with some of the vices that we have.
Madam Chair, we were told in Ikumi that there is now a program under Ministry of Lands for titling land to the poor freely. Is it there that you support my people? Now mine really, we are at the PDM level. We are there. We need help. We are told that there is some project or something that you have. This is not now a query, Madam Chair, but I take advantage
but
of
thank
the
you. Let's have them respond. Sincerely, local government is waiting. We need to call this meeting off.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mine is about double titling. This is true. When we introduced the National Land Information System, we were able to discover many of the titles which were overlapping others. But these were due to 2 to 3 reasons. Some of them, it was a survey problem. When the survey was still manual and with the different sheets, people would make those errors. So with the introduction of the system, we have been able to discover some of these issues and we are addressing them. It is very easy to address actually, because if there are 2 people with 2 people with different titles over the same land, there are simple steps we take to verify who is the most legitimate. 1, first in time. 2, who is using the land. 3, it's very easy to determine. And this, with the introduction of the system, we have been able to fix and minimize that. Then someone who talked about issues with National Forestry Authority and etc. Previously, these eco-sensitive areas were just gazetted. Okay? They would give shape files, then they give a gazette instrument, which is a good practice. However, that gazettement would not be captured on the National Land Information System. Now, we have an arrangement with these entities to also survey, and we are giving a different coding on the National Land Information System, such that if anybody came with the title, with the application in a particular area, it flags it immediately. So it's work in progress and we are addressing it. Whether we have fast and slow lines, no. In the lands, all clients are equal. We try as much as possible to clear our queues in a day or in the priority in which applications have come. Fast in, fast out. We have that arrangement. Corruption. Takes 2 to a tango. Who is paying these lands people? And why are you paying them? So if you send your transaction with an envelope accompanying it, is where the problem is. But if you don't pay and your transaction delays, then we shall be able to address those challenges. So let us fight it, all of us. Me, you, and middlemen. It's all of us to blame for this. Thank you.
Thank you for commending us. I'm happy that some of you who look at your smartphones all the time see messages from us. We alert you when they are transacting on your land. So please make an account for yourself. It is only 10,000. The fee is 10,000, and you get an account to alert you on land transactions on your land, because we have the information. So we send you.
And Madam
Thank
Chair,
you, thank you, thank you, PS, honorable colleagues. I request that we end at this. I want to thank you for this fruitful engagement. We thank your team for ably responding to these matters. These are national issues. We are here because we are working for and on behalf of the Republic of Uganda. We occupy these offices in public trust, and you are paid from the consolidated fund. So accountability is a must, and it's person to holder. We only want to employ you to really reduce on the inefficiencies that there is in the Ministry of Lands, so that you can serve people better. You know the criticality and importance of the matter that you do handle. Land is one of the most, actually is the most valuable asset that we have in the country. Aware of the conflicts that arise out of land wrangles, people have died because of land. Pick interest in the delays in court cases on land matters, and see how best we can help our people when it comes to land cases delaying. Also intervene and ask why. Why do we have a lot of backlog? Yes, we have them across, but you pick interest in your docket. Why do we have a case backlog on matters of land? And we would also be happy if at times you can give us free lawyers to help us. I mean, handle. There are poor women down there who cannot afford to pay lawyers on some of these cases. If the Ministry of Lands, to some extent, as as you give back to the people, you know, at times think about those some of those how do we call it in marketing, but give back to the people. Sometimes you can find a few cases that have delayed. Corporate social responsibility. It can be an area of innovation. You pick out some cases that have been, you know, have delay and somebody is vulnerable. Lands can foot that bill of ensuring that justice is dispensed to the beneficiary. We want to thank honorable colleagues. Thank you for your patience. Honorable colleague, I'm closing. You went out for lunch. You've not moved out. Kindly, I will assign you. Thank you. I'm assigning you to see the PS offside that you can have that burning issue handled. Honorable colleagues, meeting is adjourned to we are
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, good afternoon. Kindly, let's call the meeting to order. Good afternoon, honorable members. Good afternoon, PS. We apologize for the delay. Honorable members, we have an engagement of the Public Accounts Committee with the Accounting Officer Vote 011, the Minister of Local Government, on the Auditor General's report for the year ended 2024-25. The agenda is prayer, introduction, communication from the chair, presentation of reports by the accounting officer, consideration of responses, and thereafter ushahadiana. Aware that some minutes to 4, and some of us are fasting, so let's make sure we use 2 hours, and I know the PS will catch up with the speed. Honorable colleagues, we are beginning with a prayer.
Okay, good afternoon. Let's sum ourselves on the prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders in Parliament for the welfare of society and the just government of humanity, we beseech you to look upon with your abundant favor these your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important trust in this land. Let your blessing descend upon them here assembled, and grant that they may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under their deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as will promote your honor and glory, and to advance the good of those whose interest you have committed to their charge.
Amen. Introduction will begin with members of Parliament. Honorable Isaac, we begin with you.
Thanks, Chair, for introducing me. I'm Isaac Modoi, a member of this committee. Thank you.
He's the honorable member of
You want me
Parliament.
to declare my interest?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Hope Grania Nakazwe is my name, woman member of Parliament from Murende District.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Silas Algon, MP from Municipality. Before I came to Parliament, I was in local government, so you are my friends. Most welcome.
You declare your interest.
I'm no longer there.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, colleagues and our guests. I'm Susan Mugabe, the woman member of Parliament from my district and a member of the committee.
We are also part of local government.
Which is local. Phillips Ilukon, member of Parliament, Mapore West constituency, Karenga district, Karamoja, and a member of this committee. You are welcome.
Madam Chairperson, my name is Kabusu Moses. I am a member of Parliament for Chamuswa in Kalangala. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, our guests. My name is Patrick Nsamba Washabe. I represent the people of Kasamba County North.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I'm Namuga Dionisia, woman MP, Wengo District, and member of this committee. Thank you.
And tell them that you were neighbor to the chair. So that, so if they see you speak for many times, they shouldn't worry.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm Choma Zavia, MP, Ibanda North, and a member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Richard Wanda, member of Parliament for Vongoho Central in Mbale, and a member of this committee.
Madam Chair, I'm Sewung Joseph Gonzaga, MP Karong County West, member of the committee.
Staff?
My name is Max Komakech. I'm the clerk to the committee.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. Good afternoon, everyone. Called Punyawili Sarongo, Assistant Manager Parliamentary Liaison, Officer of the Auditor General, attached to Park. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. Emmanuel Ebuchu, Auditor.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Wycliffe Banura. I'm an auditor.
Thank you, Chair. Listen Ismail, the Budget Officer. Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Edison Karamaji, the Community Economist.
Accounting Officer and your team.
Honorable Chair and members,
I'm Ben Kumumanya, Permanent Secretary and Accounting Officer, Ministry of Local Government.
Members, I am Galab Zisozi, the National Coordinator, PDF.
Thank you, Chair. I am Sewa Antekalifan, the Undersecretary, Minister of Local Government.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Hajat Joeria Kamanza, the Assistant Commissioner Accounts and the Head of Accounts for Minister of Local Government.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Haj Siranja Kasim, Accountant.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm Emmanuel Chimboa, Assistant Commissioner Finance and Planning, Minister of Local Government.
Thank you, Chair and members. Magumba Charles, Commissioner of Urban Administration, Minister of Local Government.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. My name is Stephen Koma. I'm Commissioner, District Inspection, Ministry of Local Government.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Belinda Edson. I'm the Head Procurement and Disposal Unit, Ministry of Local Government.
I'm Senda Yasin, Assistant Commissioner, Urban Inspection, Project Coordinator, National Oil Project. Thank you, Chair and members. My name is Paul Kasule Mukasa, Project Coordinator, Rural Development and Food Security in Northern Uganda.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. My name is Ted Ujeje, Assistant Commissioner, District Administration at the Ministry of Local Government.
Chair, I'm Grace Nanoji, Project Accountant, National Oil Seeds Project.
Thank you, Chair and members. I'm Namuga Benson, Principal Assistant Secretary, Ministry of Local Government.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. My name is Emmanuel Manguzi, Assistant Commissioner, Local Enrollment, Ministry of Government.
Madam Chair and members, my name is Samuel Galiwango, Assistant Commissioner, Police Analysis, Ministry of Local Government.
Honorable Chair and members, my name is Kashe Miligate. I'm the Assistant Commissioner for Local Councils Development in the Ministry of Local Government.
Thank you, Chair and members. Nelson Ernest Kahal is my name. I'm in charge of human resource at the Ministry of Local Government.
Thank you, Chair and members. My name is Apaya Semojong, Principal Human Resource Officer, Ministry of Local Government.
Good afternoon, Chair. Julius Kapwepwe, Technical Advisor, Parish Development.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Segan George, Economist, Ministry of Local Government.
Hey, we've not heard.
Semembe Geoffrey, Economist, Ministry of Local Government.
Is Geoffrey an economist in Iruengo? Did you say in Iruengo?
Ministry of Local
Honorable colleagues, good afternoon once again. We are here to engage with the Ministry of Local Government, the most closest ministry to every one of us. You are our ministry, you have counterparts this side, you have your former cow, you have many of us who have been in local government. So we want to commend you for the duty of service to the country and also to inform you that you've made colleagues turn into government. You know, once the president was in Kololo and he said that MPs have turned themselves into government. Reason, Kumumanya has failed to do his part. Because when turned to work on the roads, we are the ones who extend water to the people. So that means you've decided to make MPs do the work for local governments. So, honorable colleagues, the mandate of the Ministry of Local Government is to guide, mentor, inspect, and monitor local government to ensure compliance with national policies. And Mr. Kumumanya, would like you to make comment of the number of local governments that we have in line to the districts, municipalities, cities. Are you comfortable with that number? And also make comment of some of these sub-counties that have spent 10 years, 15 years, but they don't have even a single office. In my constituency, I have one. It's called Mitete Sub-County. It's making 12 years. But we don't have an office, and we operate in a rented room of 2 rooms, a sitting